Hey gang, well, it's another time that we're going to try to use the tools of technology. There's so many tools of technology, so we're going to try to get better and better at this, because this blog and Twitter and Facebook and our faithpromise.org and online campuses and all those things, they are there to provide tools to help you grow. It's our desire to add value to you, to take what God has given us. As God said, freely you have received, freely give, and we want to do that. Now we're in the middle of, it's got to be one of the most exciting series that we have done in a long time. The series is entitled, What's in It for Me? Well, that's a great question. Some people think, wow, that's awfully self-serving. How can you ask God what's in it for me? We can ask God what's in it for me because He tells us so many times in the Scripture so much of what He's provided for us. So we don't want to miss it, because I know that even as you read the blog or you listen to the video blog, you do it because you want to grow. You want to pursue passionately God, and you want to be better and better. This past weekend we ran out of time. There's so much material. And I made a promise this last week to those that were at Faith Promise and on internet campuses that I would blog this week and do a video blog on 7 things that Jesus promised that He reward. Now, that is not an exhaustive list, but it's a list nonetheless, and it's one that Scripture's clear, and there's so many things that God rewards us for. The first thing that we want to cover, we find in Matthew chapter 6, as Jesus said that He promised that God reward us for seeking Him by prayer and fasting. As we do it, those that hunger and thirst after righteousness will be filled. He said in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. He said in Matthew chapter 6, verse 6, that when you enter your prayer closet, the inner room, and you pray in secret, your Father who sees you will reward you. Again, He promises over and over to reward us for so many things. The second thing that He promised that He would reward us for is for submitting to those in authority over us. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 8, it says, knowing that whatever good thing each one does, this he will receive back from the Lord, whether slave or free. Whatever good thing we do for God, He is going to give back to us. And in this paragraph, it's dealing with submission to authority. So as students or children submit to their parents, as employers, as employees submit to employers, we've placed ourselves in a position to be blessed and rewarded by God. The third thing that He promised is self-denial. He said, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me daily. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 24 through 27, He says those that do that are going to receive a reward. So when we deny us and we place Him in the priority that He deserves, which is numero uno, He promises to bless. The fourth thing is by serving those in need. In Mark chapter 9, verse 41, again, Jesus is telling us this, that He's going to reward us for whoever gives you a cup of cool water to drink because of your name as followers of Christ. Truly I say to you, he will not lose his reward. So when we serve those who don't have any way to give us back, matter of fact, the Lord said if you'll give to those who can't get back to you, you're going to be rewarded for that. And we all want to be rewarded when we get to heaven, not only for serving, but for suffering. In Luke chapter 6, we're promised that when we suffer for His name's sake, that we are to rejoice and be glad in that day, knowing that our reward in heaven is great. Luke chapter 6, verse 22 and verse 23. Again, we just want you to have the information of what God said that He was blessed. Also for sacrifices. In Luke 6:35, same thing. Love your enemies and do good to those expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great, for you will be sons of the Most High, for He Himself is ungrateful, is kind to ungrateful and evil men. When we do that, when we suffer, when we sacrifice for His name, He blesses us. And then when we share, in Matthew chapter 6, when we share with others, when we share, in verse 3, but when you give to the poor, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving will be in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Now, this past weekend, if you missed it, you may want to go online at faithpromise.org and get the message, because we talked about the judgment seat of Christ. And it is our prayer for you. It's my prayer as your friend, that you would hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant," from me, is we all will stand before the eyes of the one with whom we have to do, and nothing is hidden. Listen, let me know what you think about this, whether you'd like to hear video more than just written, because I'm probably not the greatest communicator, but I do a little better orally than I do in written form. But would you just comment on this and let us know what you think and if this is helpful, and what else we can do to add value to you. We love you. We're praying that you live a life that honors God, and you're rewarded beyond your greatest expectation. Be blessed and have a great week.